My name is Joe Tupy, and they asked me to do some Baby Rattles. And we're not going to do Baby Rattles, we're going to do segmented Baby Rattles. We're going to show you how to put the segments together. So this is a walnut and maple one, and this is a holly and bloodwood. And what's inside there is BBs, and that's what I use. So the first thing I do is obviously I get two contrasting types of wood. And I made a little jig. I go to my table saw, and I set the fence at 1 7/8 inches. And so then I take the wood that I'm going to cut, and I usually cut it in lengths of 6, because the Baby Rattles, when I get done, they're going to be 6 inches. The block will be 6 inches, so I want a 12-inch, 18, or 24-inch. When I put this on, put my rip fence at 1 7/8, I cut this down. What happens then, each time I cut, I get a strip of wood. So I get strips of wood out of it. It's a safe method to use. It's fairly accurate. So then, after I got, this is maple and walnut, I get the strips up, and I want it to be about 1.5 inches wide. So what I do is I put it on my gluing tray. This is a tray. I lay it down, spray glue out, put this together here, and I use blocks of wood to hold it in place like this to glue it out. The reason why is because these strips are so thin that they'll have waves in it if you don't put blocks of wood and sandwich it together. That's pretty important. So you want it that way. Well, I let it glue, let it dry overnight. After in the morning, when I get out, I come up and I have a strip of wood just like this. Then I put it on my table saw and I split it. And I have 2 strips. Then I take these strips, all right, and I measure out 6 inches each, and I cut them down to 6 inches. That's why you want, multiples of 6 as opposed to 15 or something like that. That way you don't have any waste wood. Do we understand what's going on right now? Do we know how we got to this point here? Okay. Then what I do is I take this 2 pieces and I put them in pairs and I flip it over. So now I have a checkered pattern on that end. And I use 3 times magnifying glasses, and I watch, and I look at it, and I put some glue in here, and I put it down, and I squeeze it with the clamp, flip it over, squeeze it with the clamp, and I keep watching it to make sure these are lined up perfectly. Otherwise, it's going to be ruined. You want it to be as perfect as you can get it. And I only do 2 at a time. I don't do a 3rd one on top. It gets too confusing. You got too many things to worry about. So I can do 2. So now, I've got a pair. And then when I take my 3rd one, and I invert that also. So I would glue this together. And I would glue this together. So now I have 2 halves of the Baby Rattle. Okay? That looks like this.
How long are you watching it? When you say you watch it,
I like it because
I understand why, but how? I mean, if it hasn't moved in a couple of minutes, are you good? Or
this heat, yes. Yeah, I'm watching it, and I'm looking back and forth, and I'm watching it, and I put 3 clamps, one on either end and one in the middle. Okay? Get an idea of where we're at right now. So they're both exactly the same. So now I have 2 halves of my rattle. What I do is I measure down 1.5 inches from either end. And I find the center. Well, the center is pretty easy because there are 6 bloodwood and 6 holly in this one. So I count over 6, measure 1.5 inches down, and I've got this. So you guys can't really see it or not. And then I take my scratch awl and I poke a hole right there on either end. So now this is what I've got. Line across, and I know where that center is. Then I take a piece of double-sided tape, put it on one side. Got any questions? Do we understand where I'm at right now? How I got the checkered board and how I made the blocks to where they are? Okay. No, the glues I just used, on this one I used Type Bond, the original. And there's a couple of tricks for that is, if it's really hot out and you're in your shop like mine, it's kind of hot, put it in the refrigerator for a while, about 45 minutes, it'll cool it down, it won't tack up as fast. All right, so now I stick double-sided tape on this. I take my tailstock and I bring it up. And since I know where that hole is, I put that hole on my tailstock. I push that up. And all this is a faceplate and a piece of melamine. You can go to that C&W counter shop on North Street. They have inserts from the kitchen, like 2 foot by 2 foot. They'll give it to you for free. Okay. Okay. So now, I just take this, I've got it marked up where I want it to be, and I just push it up to there. So now, push that down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn a little bolt. That's exactly what I'm going to do. How deep I'm going on this one has 3. So when I go through the first 2 layers and I hit that 3rd layer, I'm going to stop. And then my width is I'm going to come almost to that last strip on either side. I'm going to leave, a 1/16 of an inch. Make sure it's spin free before you turn your lathe on. And now all I'm doing is I'm just going to turn a little bolt. Nice and easy turning. I'm not rushing anything. I'm just going slow. But what I'm looking for is that 3rd layer, that layer closest to the piece of melamine. What's that?
Always do this in the dark.
I don't do this in dark. You want light on? That'd be fine. Can you see it better? Does that help you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That was kind of psychedelic now, thanks.
Now it's glare where you can't see anything.
That was what?
Glare, that light's glare where you can't see anything.
Is that better?
There you go.
There you go. All right. Okay, not quite yet. I've got 1 and 2.
And your double-sided tape, cheap carpet type or the high-pressure rosin type?
No, just C-carpet. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on this, so it's going to hold it. I'm not gouging real hard, so it's fine. It's going to, you know what I mean? You'd be surprised how strong that tape is. Okay. All right, now I've hit that third layer. And I'm almost to exactly where I want it to be. I want to widen this cavity out a little bit more here, so it'll be a little better, a little more to work with. Again, this is just nice and easy turning. Okay, that's about right, where I'd want it. Now I'm going to do the other side. Exactly the same thing. Pull this off. Push this up. Again, I use the tailstock to hold it in place, to line it. Blur, yeah. Make sure you don't hit your tool rest again. And again, just real light turning. Not quite. Right, I broke through. I'm just going to kind of make it look a little more of a bowl shape inside here. And I'm about right with the edges right there. Pull this off. Okay. Now we have our two halves. You want it like this? So when I do, what I'll do is I put 10 BBs on either side. But before I do that, I put glue on, I rub it together, pull it off, and invariably there'll be some glue on these little, in the cavities. Wipe that out. Then I go back and I put my BBs in, put it down, and I glue it. Again, I'm watching each side so that they are lined up. Okay? Hold on, let me one step for it. What I do is I take a pencil and I mark where I'm at. So I know that this middle of this cavity is right here. The edge is right here, and the same with this one here. Middle, edge, and edge. Okay? So on this one, this is my middle, right there. My edge is right about there. Again, these are just estimates. You don't need to be super precise. You just want to figure out where you're at when you get it on the lathe, so you have an idea. Okay, then I go back and I glue it. All right, now let's say you have this right here and it's got some glue spots on it. Take a piece of glass and then take 100 grit paper, glue that spray adhesive, put on the glass, and rub this down and it'll get that super smooth. So these will have a good fit. That's a little tip. You understand? Okay. All right, so let it dry overnight, and voila, we have block that we can turn into a rattle. Now I know where my marks are because I put marks right here. So I've got it there, here, here, and here. This one right there, there. There's one right there, and one right there. Okay. Then on the ends, I figure out where the center is on that, and I take my scratch hole and I poke it in there. I poke it in there so I can find my my centers again. Okay. Well, this is a little spur chuck. You got so quiet. Wow. They're always smart, yeah. Okay. Now what I do at home is I take a piece of masking tape and I put it here on the bar. And then on the masking tape I would draw with pencil lines to tell me where my cavities are. So I might have an idea. So I cannot move this tool rest now. So I know whether, when I get rid of these markings, I know where they are because of marks on my tool rest. Okay? Yeah.
Take the light and shine it on your fuel rest there.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, that's, now we'll be able to see.
Like this? Perfect.
Yeah.
You see those? So that way I know where it's at. And again, it's a general idea is what you want. It doesn't have to be super specific, but it does help. Now we went from bolt turning, now we're just going to do spindle turning. Well, another good point is, before you put this on the lathe, take it and bang it on the machine, because you want to make sure that if any glue had gotten into those cavities and glued those BBs, then at this point you can knock them loose. So, and make sure you put your BBs in. I've heard of guys making baby rattles, not putting the BBs in.
It's a nighttime rattle.
Yeah, it's a stealth rattle. Again, I'm just taking this down, get that wood out of the way that I need to do it. Okay, using my pencil. That's pretty smooth.
If the babies come out and get spin around.
No, haven't yet. Okay, now what I do is I take my parting tool and I define my ends. I go about an eighth of an inch off that last mark. Okay, now I'm defined. Take my spindle gouge and just start still Do what?
Shining a light on the project, not your knuckles.
Yep. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. It's really cool. Again, we're just getting the wood out of the way. See if we get any questions where we're at from where we're at right now. This is just regular spindle turning. No, what I'm doing is I visually just look at it. Some guys will get a caliper out and they're worried about that. I just kind of look at it and see how it looks, you know. What's that?
Depends on how discerning the user is going to be.
Exactly. Well, it could be a little kid. So.
There probably is a certain size that you wouldn't want to go beyond for soaking hazards. What do we make the tops at? An inch and 5/8?
Well, I think that's because they're a little shorter. I think this is not 1 5/8. This is going to be about 1.5 inches. Is what my block was. Again, I'm just shaping these into little balls.
Joe, I guess you're not getting much vibration because the wood grain's all heavy the same lengthwise.
Yes. Well, it's not very big either.
Yeah.
You know,
Or it's big enough that it's ugly.
yeah. Take a look. Again, I'm just shaping these down. since I haven't moved my tool rest, I still don't know where my marks are.
Joe, I know you're in love with that checkerboard pattern, but these could also easily be made out of a couple of 1x2 hardened.
Oh yeah. For just the use of a table saw and a couple hours of glue, and I think you get a little more dramatic than just 2 pieces of wood too. You know? You know, like I said, with a checkerboard, though, I mean, you only have is a table saw and a jig to make that, just, you know what I mean? So that's all like this here. Get it pretty close. And I would sand it to about 1500.
What do you start with, Bill?
150. Yeah.
Because you don't finish them?
No, I'll do that, I'll say 1 second. I don't know if I should say this one or not. Okay, sanded up to 15. Bring this in. Okay, we're going to part it off. You gotta work both ends, get it way down. These little things you can save, and you've got a center, so you can put little magnets, glue them together, make magnets for your kitchen, so they're not wasted. Now, how I do the ends is I take a J-Grits chuck with a preformed sanding pad on it, and then I would just run through the grits again.
That soft cup compress it enough and make it round, right?
What's that?
That soft cup on there compress it
Yeah.
enough to make it round.
Yeah, you just take it and you just kind of run it like this way. Then I run through all the grits. And then, for the polish, I put the wheel buffing system on, and I use the Carnauba wax wheel only. That's what gives it that shine on it. That's basically it.